Meditation number 2 begins the process of moving through the stages of Samadhi, similar to the process of moving through the stages of discernment. The practice of Samadhi involves 3 very important concepts: Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi. Dharana is concentration, not of the mind, but of the soul's ability to place its attention upon something. Dhyan is meditation, the ability of the subject and object, Purusha and Prakriti, to start to merge so that the soul can become deeply one with what it's putting its consciousness on. And Samadhi is when that has fully happened. The power of this, the ability to take your consciousness and hold it where you want it, is called Sanyam. The first stage of Samadhi begins with the most dense, and here you can open your eyes and focus on anything before you. Traditionally, this is done with a candle flame. You might want to stop this recording and go and light a candle and use that. But you can meditate on anything. You can meditate on anything physical. You can even meditate on a sound. You could even use the sound of this voice. Take your time and decide or set up what you'll be bringing your attention to with your eyes open in the physical world. It can be a picture. It can be a spot on the ceiling. And assuming you know what you're meditating on, bring your attention there. If your mind wanders, just come back to what you're meditating on. You don't have to stop your mind, nor should you try to stop your mind. It's not about your mind. It's about what you're meditating on. This is the practice of Vitarka Anugat Sampragat Samadhi, or bringing your attention and becoming one with a physical object of consciousness. It is Sampragat, it is subject-object. There is an I observing an it. Observe that it with your full attention. At first, it's called Savitark, where there's a you knowing an it, and you're thinking about it. You're saying, I am observing it. You're knowing it through name and through form. Keep looking at it. Dharana, bring all of your attention to it. Dhyan, meditate on it. Let your consciousness fully identify with it, not forgetting who you are as consciousness, but being fully aware of it as the object. The more you do this, the less your mind will have to keep saying, candle, come back to the candle. Instead of saying it over and over, you'll just be with the candle. Pure being with the candle moves you into Nirvitark, Sampragat Samadhi. It's still you and the candle. However, now you don't have to use the word candle. Know the candle as it is without your mind. Just let your consciousness fully rest on what you're observing. You can pause this recording at any time and just keep doing that until you experience Nirvitark Samadhi, total merger, oneness with the object of meditation. Now, in time, you'll feel the natural tendency to want to close your eyes down. Once you feel you've really merged with that feeling of being with the candle, or if you just like to practice and move on, then you'll let your eyes close down. The next step is called Vichar Sampragat Samadhi. And the first level is Savichar, meditating on the subtle idea of the object of consciousness. Let's say it was a candle. Now bring your attention to the idea of the candle within you. If you're seeing that image burned inside of your retina in the back of your eye, you can bring your attention there while that image of that inner light lasts. However, as it fades, keep bringing your attention again and again to the idea of the candle. Now you're no longer meditating on the external, more dense object. You're meditating on the subtle idea, thinking, I am meditating on the idea of a candle. That's the savichara state, where your mind is still engaged in the meditation. Dharana, concentrate on it. Dhyan, let your consciousness start to merge into it in meditation. And samadhi keeps occurring as you and the idea of the candle become one. In the state of nirvichar, there's no longer your mind saying anything about the name or form of the idea of the candle. There's just you, the consciousness, and the idea of the candle, merged as one. No more separation. It's still subject-object by nature, where you and it are there. Yet your mind has moved into more of a state of nirod, where the fluctuations of your consciousness have ceased to arise. You keep practicing this as long as it takes to start to move into the next level of samadhi, which again will begin to arise naturally as you're moving from more dense to more subtle. If you'd like to stop this recording and take time meditating in the vichar state of samadhi to bring all of your attention to the subtle idea, you can do so. However, remember, you can bypass all of these stages to move into the highest. However, knowing that it's important to understand the stages, you can keep moving through. The next level you'll begin to move into naturally, assuming you're doing this, is called Anand Sampragat Samadhi. Anand means bliss, or a sweet, subtle peace. It's not the absolute bliss of the highest state of samadhi of the self. It's actually the bliss of the I sense, you might say, of the ego. Not to use that word in any negative connotation at all. Ego only in the sense of, here I am, and I'm aware that I am, and in Anand Samadhi, I am aware I am experiencing bliss. Instead of meditating on the physical candle in the Vitarka stage, instead of meditating on the idea of the candle in the Vichar stage, begin to direct your attention now onto the bliss, the peace that's arising within. If your consciousness has been held higher up in your forehead while gazing into that inner idea of the candle, you'll start to feel a very sweet, peaceful state. Not necessarily ecstatic joy and overwhelming rapture. Not to be misled by the word Anand, just to simply feel that very peaceful, sweet, blissful feeling that comes from bringing your attention to this inner space. You let go of the idea of the candle, and now you're meditating in the bliss. Anand Anugat Sampragat Samadhi. A subject-object relationship pertaining to bliss as you start to merge into that bliss. Taking your time here if you'd like, or moving on to the next level of samadhi, asmita, anugat sampragat samadhi, the I sense and the attention that's brought there. As you are aware that I am meditating on this blissful feeling, instead of meditating on the bliss, meditate on the I am. You begin to transcend the bliss of the Anand state and move into the pure being of the Asmita state. Now you're bringing your consciousness to the I am presence itself. You could always bypass all other levels and go here. Practice pratyahara withdrawing your attention from the external world, and bring your attention to the knower, the space in your forehead, the I am presence of Purush. Practice dharana. Bring your attention again and again to this self. Don't try to stop your mind. If you get caught in your mind, come back to the space of self. And you practice dhyan, meditation, letting you, the observer of the knower, and the knower itself become one. To realize you are observing yourself. This is true meditation. This is Sham Dhyan, meditating on pure conscious space. And the more you do this, as you merge into this in oneness, you experience Asmita Samadhi, amness, just pure being with the awareness of pure being. I am aware that I am, and I keep bringing my attention again and again back to who I am. And take a moment in silence to keep coming back to this space. If you get caught up in your mind, again, just keep merging back into the self. Your mind will quiet down on its own. Don't try to stop it. Just keep coming back to the self. You can bypass every level and stage. You don't have to worry about moving linearly through all the different means of reaching the highest. Just bring your attention to the highest and keep holding your attention there. Take a moment as I'm silent. Now, the more you bring your attention here, holding it here again and again, you begin to move into what's called asampragat samadhi, a state where there is no more subject-object. There are no words for this. It is complete transcendence into the self. It's where you, as the knower, know yourself only as knower, without any duality, without any sense of mind saying that you are there. Just pure being. Not that you have to be fully there, but keep meditating on it. Keep bringing your attention again and again to the self, knowing you are the self. You are practicing the opposite of yutan vritti. Instead of your consciousness going out into the world, you're practicing narod vritti, bringing your consciousness back into its source so that the fluctuations of your mind settle down on their own. Just keep bringing your attention again and again to the knower. And you can move on to the next meditation called Sham Dhyan, or you can simply continue with your day, sitting in this seat of higher consciousness, being the witness, observing all you experience from this place of peace, remembering to nurture this state of consciousness morning and evening for 5 or 10 minutes or more, in meditation, sitting silently, so that you can be established in the knower, to live your life from the absolute peace of the self. And if you're ready, you can move on to the next meditation.